Sarah adjusted her nurse's uniform and looked at the clock on the wall. 11:45 p.m. In 15 minutes, her night shift would begin. It was her last one. After 5 years of working nights at St. Mary's Hospital, she was finally moving to the day shift. She should have been happy, but something felt wrong. Sarah couldn't explain it, but she had a strange feeling in her chest, like she was forgetting something important. "Ready for your last night, Sarah?" asked Tom, the security guard. He was a friendly man in his 50s who had worked at the hospital for 20 years. "Ready as I'll ever be," Sarah smiled, "though I'll miss the quiet nights here." "Quiet," Tom laughed. "You call this place quiet. Every night something strange happens here." Sarah knew he was right. Working the night shift at a hospital was never boring. There were always emergencies, unusual patients, and unexplained sounds in the empty corridors. As midnight struck, Sarah began her rounds. The hospital felt different tonight. The lights seemed dimmer. The hallways seemed longer, and there was a strange silence that made her uncomfortable. She walked past room 304. The room had been empty for months. No patient wanted to stay there. There were rumors about that room. People said they heard whispers at night, saw shadows moving, and felt cold spots even in summer. Sarah had always dismissed these stories as superstition. But tonight, as she passed room 304, she heard something. A sound, like someone crying softly. She stopped and listened carefully. There it was again, a woman's voice crying. Sarah's heart beat faster. She knew the room was empty. She had checked the patient list herself, but the crying continued. Taking a deep breath, Sarah opened the door to room 304. The room was dark except for the moonlight coming through the window. And there, sitting on the bed, was a woman. She was young, maybe 25 years old, with long dark hair and pale skin. She wore a white hospital gown and was crying silently, her face in her hands. "Hello," Sarah said gently, turning on the lights. "Are you okay? What's your name?" The woman looked up. Her eyes were red from crying, but they were also beautiful, a deep green color that seemed to glow in the dim light. "I'm lost," the woman whispered. "I don't know where I am. I don't know how I got here." Sarah approached slowly. "You're at St. Mary's Hospital. I'm Sarah, one of the nurses here. Let me help you. What's your name?" "Elena," the woman said. "My name is Elena." Sarah checked her tablet for new patient admissions. There was no Elena listed. No emergency admissions tonight at all. "Elena, how did you get into this room? Did someone bring you here?" Sarah asked. Elena shook her head. "I don't remember. I just woke up here. I was somewhere else and then I was here. Everything is so confusing." Sarah studied Elena carefully. She didn't seem injured or sick. She seemed more confused than anything else. Maybe she was a psychiatric patient who had wandered in. "Let me call the front desk and sort this out," Sarah said, reaching for her phone. "No, please." Elena grabbed Sarah's hand. Her touch was ice cold. "Don't call anyone yet. Please just talk to me for a moment. I'm so scared." Sarah felt sympathy for this frightened woman. "Okay," she said softly. "Let's talk. Tell me what you remember." Elena took a deep breath. "I remember. A car. It was raining. The roads were wet. There was music playing on the radio, a love song. And then, nothing, just darkness, and now I'm here." "Were you in an accident?" Sarah asked with concern. "I don't know," Elena said, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I can't remember anything else. Who I am, where I live, who my family is, it's all gone. All I remember is that car and the rain." Sarah sat down next to Alina. "It's okay. We'll figure this out together. Sometimes trauma can cause temporary memory loss. You're safe here." They talked for over an hour. Alina couldn't remember much, but she remembered loving books, especially romance novels. She remembered having a cat named Luna. She remembered the smell of her mother's perfume, though she couldn't remember her mother's face. As they talked, Sarah felt a strange connection to Alina. There was something familiar about her, though Sarah was certain they had never met before. "Thank you," Alina said suddenly. "Thank you for being kind to me. Most people would have called security by now." Sarah smiled. "I'm a nurse. It's my job to help people. Besides, you seem like you need a friend right now." "I do," Alina whispered. "I really do." Sarah knew she needed to find out who Alina really was. She left Alina in room 304 with a promise to return soon, and went to the nurse's station. She logged into the hospital computer system and searched for any unidentified patients brought in recently. Nothing. Then she searched news websites for car accidents in the area. There had been a major accident 3 days ago on Highway 45. A woman's car had gone off the road during a storm. The driver was rushed to a hospital, but there was no name released yet. Sarah's hands trembled as she read the article. The description matched Alina, young woman, dark hair, driving alone at night. But there was one problem. The article said the woman had been taken to Memorial Hospital, not St. Mary's. So how did Alina end up here? "Sarah," Tom's voice startled her. "Everything okay? You look worried." Sarah hesitated. Should she tell Tom about Alina? But something made her keep quiet. "I'm fine, Tom, just tired. It's been a long night." Tom nodded but didn't look convinced. "Well, if you need anything, I'm here. It is your last night, after all. We should make sure it's a good one." After Tom left, Sarah returned to room 304. But when she opened the door, the room was empty. Alina was gone. Sarah's heart raced. Where could she have gone? She checked the bathroom, empty. She looked under the bed, nothing. Then she noticed something on the pillow. A note, written in elegant handwriting. "I'm sorry I had to leave. Something is calling me. I need to find the truth. Thank you for your kindness, Sarah. You have a good heart. Alina." Sarah clutched the note, feeling a strange sense of loss. Who was Alina, and where had she gone? Sarah couldn't let it go. For the rest of her shift, she searched the hospital. She asked other nurses if they had seen a young woman in a white gown. No one had. She checked the security cameras with Tom's help. The cameras showed Sarah entering room 304. They showed her sitting on the bed, appearing to talk to someone, but they never showed anyone else in the room. Tom looked at Sarah with concern. "Sarah, are you sure you're feeling okay? The cameras show you sitting alone in that room for an hour." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. "I wasn't alone, Tom. I was talking to a woman named Alina." "There's no one on these cameras except you," Tom said gently. Sarah didn't know what to think. Had she imagined Alina? Was she so tired that she had hallucinated? But the note was real. She had it in her pocket. At 6 a.m., Sarah's shift ended. But instead of going home, she drove to Memorial Hospital. She had to find out about that accident victim. At Memorial's information desk, Sarah explained she was a nurse from St. Mary's, looking for information about a patient from the Highway 45 accident. The receptionist checked the computer. "Ah, yes, we had that patient. Alina Rodriguez, age 24. She was in critical condition when she arrived. Sarah's blood ran cold. Is she okay now? The receptionist's face became serious. I'm sorry to tell you this, but Alina Rodriguez passed away 2 days ago. She never regained consciousness after the accident. The world seemed to spin around Sarah. That's impossible. I spoke to her last night. She was at St. Mary's. The receptionist looked confused. That can't be right. Alina never left Memorial Hospital. She died here in the ICU. Sarah felt tears in her eyes. Can I see a photo of her? The receptionist hesitated, then showed Sarah the patient file photo on the screen. It was her. The same beautiful green eyes, the same long dark hair. It was Alina. Sarah drove home in shock. How could she have talked to someone who was dead? It didn't make sense, but she couldn't deny what she had experienced. At home, Sarah couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Alina, her tears, her fear, her confusion. Even if she was a ghost, Sarah felt she needed to help her. Sarah researched online about ghosts and spirits. Many websites talked about unfinished business, the idea that spirits stay in our world when they have something left undone. What was Alina's unfinished business? Sarah remembered their conversation. Alina had mentioned being confused about where she was. She said something was calling her. What did that mean? Then Sarah remembered something else. Alina had said she remembered a love song playing on the radio before the accident. She had said it with such emotion, such longing. Was Alina's unfinished business related to love? Sarah decided to learn more about Alina's life. She found Alina's social media profiles. Alina had been a kindergarten teacher who loved her students. Her photos showed a happy, vibrant woman who loved life. In many photos, Alina was with a man. He was tall with kind eyes and a gentle smile. The photos showed them hiking, cooking together, laughing at restaurants. Sarah read the comments on Alina's last post, from 2 weeks before the accident. I can't wait to marry my best friend next month. Daniel, you make every day magical. Alina had been engaged. She was going to get married. Sarah felt tears run down her face. Alina had died just weeks before her wedding. She never got to marry the man she loved. That evening, Sarah returned to St. Mary's Hospital. It wasn't her shift, but she needed to go back to room 304. Tom was surprised to see her. Sarah, what are you doing here? I need to check something, Tom. Please, just let me go to room 304. Tom looked worried but nodded. Be careful, Sarah. Sarah stood outside room 304. She took a deep breath and opened the door. The room was dark and silent. Sarah turned on the light and sat on the bed where she had talked to Alina. Alina, she called softly, are you here? Silence. Alina, I know what happened. I know you died in that accident. I'm so sorry. Still silence. I know about Daniel. I know you were supposed to get married. Alina, if you can hear me, I want to help you. The temperature in the room dropped suddenly. Sarah could see her breath in the cold air. Then, slowly, a figure appeared near the window. It was Alina. She looked more transparent now, like Sarah could see through her. But her eyes still held that same lost, frightened look. You came back, Alina whispered. Of course I did, Sarah said, fighting back tears. Alina, do you remember now? Do you remember the accident? Alina nodded slowly. I remember. I was driving to see Daniel. We had argued that morning. He wanted to postpone the wedding, said we were rushing things. I was so angry, so hurt. I drove too fast in the rain. I lost control of the car. Tears flowed down Alina's ghostly face. I died without telling him I loved him, without saying I was sorry for the things I said. I died angry, Sarah, and now I'm trapped here and I don't know how to find him. Sarah's heart broke for this lost soul. Alina, you're not trapped, you're just holding on to something. You need to let Daniel know how you feel. But how? Alina cried. I'm dead, I'm a ghost. I can't talk to him, I can't hold him, I can't tell him I'm sorry. Sarah thought hard. Maybe you can't tell him directly, but maybe I can help. Sarah found Daniel's contact information through Alina's social media. She called him, her hands shaking. Hello, a man's voice answered. He sounded tired and sad. Is this Daniel Martinez? Sarah asked. Yes, who is this? My name is Sarah. I'm a nurse at St. Mary's Hospital. I know this will sound strange, but I need to talk to you about Alina. There was a long pause. I don't want to talk about Alina with a stranger. Please don't call again. Wait, Sarah said quickly. Please just give me 5 minutes. Alina wants you to know something. Alina is dead, Daniel said, his voice breaking. She died without saying goodbye, without. He couldn't continue. I know, Sarah said gently, and that's why I'm calling. Daniel, I don't expect you to believe me, but Alina's spirit came to me. She has a message for you. This is crazy, Daniel said, but he didn't hang up. She wants you to know that she loves you. She wants you to know she's sorry for the argument. She understands why you wanted to postpone the wedding. You were being thoughtful, making sure everything was perfect. She was wrong to get angry. Daniel was crying now. How? How do you know about our argument? We didn't tell anyone. Alina told me, Sarah said simply. She also wants you to know that she remembers the song, the love song that was playing on the radio when she crashed. She says it's your song from your first dance together. Daniel gasped. Only Alina and I knew about that song. We never told anyone. It was our secret. She wants you to know something else, Sarah continued. She says thank you for the Luna. She says you'll understand what that means. Daniel broke down completely. Luna, that's what I was going to name our daughter. We had just found out Alina was pregnant the week before she died. We were going to announce it at the wedding. No one knew except us. We were going to name our baby girl Luna if it was a girl. Sarah felt tears streaming down her own face. Alina had been pregnant. She and her unborn child had both died in the accident. Daniel, Sarah said softly, Alina wants you to be happy. She wants you to live your life, to find love again someday. She says you're a good man and you deserve happiness. I don't want to be happy without her, Daniel sobbed. I know, but she's at peace now, knowing you understand. She loved you with all her heart, and in a way she always will. After the phone call, Sarah returned to room 304 one last time. Alina was there, waiting. She looked different now, more solid, more real, and she was smiling. You did it, Alina said. You helped me say goodbye. Did you hear the conversation? Sarah asked. Alina nodded. I heard everything. I felt everything, and now I can feel peace. For the first time since the accident, I feel at peace. I'm glad, Sarah said. You deserve peace, Alina. Alina walked closer to Sarah. Thank you for being kind to a lost soul. Thank you for not being afraid of me. Thank you for helping me when I couldn't help myself. I wish I could have done more, Sarah said. I wish I could have saved you. You did save me, Alina replied. Not my body, but my soul. You freed me from the pain and regret I was carrying. That's a greater gift than you know." The room began to fill with a soft, warm light. It seemed to be coming from nowhere and everywhere at once. "It's time," Alina said. "I can feel it. Something is calling me now, but it's not frightening anymore. It feels like home." Sarah felt tears on her cheeks. "Will I ever see you again?" Alina smiled. "Maybe, in another life, in another time. But Sarah, you need to know something. You have a gift. You can help people who are lost between worlds. This won't be the last time you meet someone like me." "What do you mean?" Sarah asked. "You have a kind heart and an open mind. That's rare. Spirits will find you because you can help them. Don't be afraid of this gift. Use it to bring peace to the lost souls." The light grew brighter. Alina began to fade, becoming transparent. "Goodbye, Sarah. Thank you for everything. Live a full life, love deeply, don't have regrets." "Goodbye, Alina," Sarah whispered. "Rest in peace." Alina smiled one last time, and then she was gone. The room returned to normal, no cold spots, no strange feeling, just an ordinary hospital room. But Sarah knew what she had experienced was real. She had helped a lost soul find peace, and somehow it had changed her forever. The next morning, Sarah started her first day shift at the hospital. Everything felt different in the daylight. The hallways were busy with doctors, nurses, and visitors. The rooms were full of patients recovering from surgeries and illnesses. Dr. James Chen, the hospital director, called Sarah into his office. "Sarah, I heard something interesting from Tom, our night security guard. He said you spent time in room 304 during your last night shift." Sarah's heart sank. Was she in trouble? "Room 304 has been empty for months," Dr. Chen continued. "We've had trouble keeping patients there. They complain about strange feelings, unexplained sounds. Some staff won't even enter that room." "I know," Sarah said quietly. Dr. Chen leaned forward. "But Tom also showed me the security footage from last night. After you left room 300 for the second time, the cameras caught something unusual. For just a moment, there appeared to be a bright light in that room. And since then, the room feels different." He paused, studying Sarah carefully. "3 patients have asked to be moved to room 304 today. They say it feels peaceful, calm, welcoming. That hasn't happened in the 3 years I've been director here." Sarah didn't know what to say. Dr. Chen smiled kindly. "I don't know what you did in that room, Sarah, and I'm not sure I want to know, but whatever happened, you've somehow healed that space. Thank you." After leaving Dr. Chen's office, Sarah felt lighter than she had in days. During her lunch break, Sarah checked her phone. She had a message from an unknown number. "Hi, Sarah. This is Daniel. I wanted to thank you again for yesterday. I don't understand how it happened, but talking to you helped me more than you know. Alina's funeral is tomorrow. Would you come? I think Alina would want you there." Sarah replied, "I'd be honored to come." Alina's funeral was held at a small church on a beautiful sunny day. Sarah sat in the back, not wanting to intrude on the family's grief. Daniel gave the eulogy. He talked about Alina's love for teaching, her kindness to everyone she met, her dreams for their future together. "Alina and I had our last argument the morning before her accident," Daniel said, his voice steady but sad. "I wanted to postpone our wedding by a few months. I was worried about money, about being ready to be a husband. Alina thought I didn't want to marry her anymore." He paused, wiping his eyes. "She drove away angry, And I never got to tell her that I was wrong. That money didn't matter, that I was ready, that I loved her more than anything in the world. The church was silent, except for quiet crying. But recently, something amazing happened, Daniel continued. I received a message that helped me understand that Alina knew. Somehow, she knew I loved her. She knew I was sorry, and she forgave me. He looked directly at Sarah. Thank you to the person who delivered that message. You gave me peace when I thought I would never find it again. After the funeral, Daniel approached Sarah. Thank you for coming, he said, shaking her hand. And thank you for whatever you did. I know it sounds impossible, but I feel like I got to say goodbye to Alina properly. I'm just glad I could help, Sarah said. Daniel reached into his pocket and pulled out a small photograph. It showed him and Alina, both smiling, both radiantly happy. I want you to have this, he said. Alina would want you to remember her as she was full of life and love. Sarah accepted the photo with trembling hands. I'll treasure it. As Sarah drove home that evening, she thought about everything that had happened. She had helped a lost soul find peace. She had helped a grieving man find closure. And somehow she had discovered something about herself. She had a gift, a purpose. 6 months passed. Sarah had settled into her day shift routine, but she often volunteered for night shifts. She had a feeling she was needed there. And she was right. Over those 6 months, Sarah encountered 3 more spirits in the hospital. An elderly man who didn't know his wife had died and was waiting for her. A teenager who was confused about why no one could see him. A woman who died during childbirth and wanted to know if her baby survived. Each time, Sarah helped them find peace. She helped them understand what had happened, helped them say goodbye, helped them move on. The hospital staff began to notice something strange. Rooms that once felt uncomfortable suddenly felt peaceful after Sarah spent time there. Patients in those rooms recovered faster, slept better, felt more at peace. Doctor. Chen called Sarah to his office again. Sarah, I've been watching your work. Patients love you. Staff members trust you. And somehow you have a calming effect on the entire hospital. I want to offer you a position as our night supervisor. Sarah was surprised. Night supervisor, but I just moved to day shift. I know, Dr. Chen said, but I think you're needed on the night shift. There's something special about the work you do at night. I can't explain it, but I can see the results. Sarah thought about Alina, about the other spirits she had helped. Maybe this was her calling. I accept, she said. A year after that first encounter with Alina, Sarah was doing her rounds on the night shift. She was now the night supervisor, and she loved her work. As she passed room 304, she felt a familiar presence. She opened the door. Alina was there, sitting on the bed, smiling. Alina, Sarah couldn't believe it, but you found peace, you moved on. I did, Alina said, but I came back for a moment just to visit you. I wanted to thank you again, and I wanted to tell you something. What is it? Sarah asked. Daniel is going to be okay, Alina said. He met someone, her name is Grace, and she's kind and patient. She's helping him heal. They're taking things slowly, but there's real love there. I'm so happy for him, Sarah said genuinely. Me too, Alina replied. I want him to be happy. I want him to love again, to have a family, to live a full life. Alina stood up. Sarah, you've helped so many lost souls. You've brought peace to so many people. You have a rare gift, and you're using it beautifully. I learned from you, Sarah said. You taught me to be brave, to listen, to care. We taught each other, Alina smiled. And now I have to go, really go this time. But I wanted you to know you made a difference. You changed my afterlife, and you're changing the lives of everyone you help. The warm light began to fill the room again. Will I see you again? Sarah asked. Maybe, Alina said, her voice fading. But probably not. I'm at peace now. I'm where I need to be. But I'll never forget you, Sarah, never. I'll never forget you either, Sarah whispered. Alina faded away, and this time Sarah knew it was permanent. But she didn't feel sad. She felt grateful for the experience, for the lessons learned, for the gift she had discovered within herself. Sarah left room 304 and continued her rounds. The night was quiet, but she was ready. Ready for whatever souls might need her help. Ready to bring peace to the lost. Ready to make a difference, one spirit at a time. As she walked through the hospital corridors, Sarah thought about how much her life had changed since that last night shift, a year ago. She had thought it was an ending, but it had been a beginning. The beginning of understanding her true purpose. The beginning of a new chapter in her life. The beginning of something extraordinary. And as the clock struck midnight and the hospital settled into its nighttime rhythm, Sarah smiled. She was exactly where she needed to be. Epilogue, 10 years later. Sarah became a legend at St. Mary's Hospital. For 10 years, she supervised the night shift, helping patients, training nurses, and occasionally helping lost souls find their way. Many people never knew about the spirits she helped, but those who experienced her compassion, both living and dead, knew that Sarah was special. On her 10th anniversary at the hospital, Dr. Chen threw a party for her. The entire staff attended, sharing stories of how Sarah had helped them, inspired them, changed their lives. That night, as Sarah walked through the hospital one last time before retiring, she passed room 304. The room was occupied now by a patient recovering from surgery. A peaceful, healing space. Sarah smiled, remembering Alina, remembering all the lost souls she had helped over the years, remembering the kindness, the tears, the healing. On the wall outside room 304, there was a small plaque that Dr. Chen had installed years ago. It read, "In memory of Alina Rodriguez and all the souls who found peace here. Sometimes the greatest healing happens in the darkest hours." Sarah touched the plaque gently, then continued down the hallway. Her last night's shift was finally over. But the love, the compassion, and the peace she had brought to so many would last forever. The end.